I'm sure I left my character around here somewhere. Also, it is a mucky day. It's weird, there's just about one little Tweety bird there. Am I wearing... Oh, right, yeah, I'm the Tweety bird. So, Chaosville has now migrated over to the Elves Past Complete pack, which means we now have Morph, which a lot of us are less than stellar about because we're all opinion that Morph is super overpowered. But it also means a few more changes have happened. For example, I am now looking at Thaumcraft. Now, Thaumcraft has a bunch of add-ons to it, none of which are particularly specific to this update. But it also means we get the latest witchery patch, which has the Brazier, which is great for doing various things with necromancy. And I've already checked, Eminif is apparently paying attention. I'm hitting all the wrong keys here, jeez. Eminif is apparently paying attention to my series because not one of the new mobs is remotely affected by safari nets. Oh well. But yeah, I said last episode we'd be getting into Thaumcraft, so here is more or less my quick handy guide as to how to Thaumcraft. Because the research has changed quite a bit in the last few updates, so I figured this would be a pretty good point where I could tell you guys exactly what's been going on. So if we take a look at my Thaumonomicon, we can say I've already unlocked quite a few things. It looks fairly similar to how it used to way back when, in say the Tekkit days or the FTP days. But we've got all of these different tabs now that we can look to isolate various things. So I've unlocked some Technomancy, I've unlocked some Apocrypha, which is more or less cross-mod pollination is the best way to describe that. So we've got the Witchwood Wand, Blood Wand, Infernal Wand, all sorts of stuff. There's even one from Totemic here, which I should maybe check out at some point, because that's a really interesting way to recharge stuff, but I've been told it's been mildly abandoned. And there's also different scribing tools which I've unlocked, and this is where the Umbral Roses that keep infesting Kieran Dave's place come from. But I have more or less been marching as quickly as I can through things. So I've gotten the Goggles of Revealing, so I can find nodes better, because nodes have a ton of research points available in them. I have gone through to, let me see, basic information, yeah, node tapping there. So research expertise, research mastery, and these are basically things that allow you to research better. So research expertise gives you a 25% chance of recovering a misplaced aspect that you're using in research. I'll explain exactly what that means in a moment. You can also see what aspects you need to combine to create an aspect that you're hovering over. So that then brings us to research mastery, where there is a 50% chance that you'll regain it, so it's 50-50. There's also a 10% chance that whenever you place it, it won't actually cost you the aspect in your pool. And lastly, you can shift click. It says control here, but it's shift for me, so I presume that's hard-coded in rather than being a reference. On any aspect you want to create, so it's sort of like our Mac, how our Mac works a little bit. And those combined those combined with the Goggles of Revealing, and lastly, from Technomancy, there is this pen, Advanced Writing. If we look at the standard scribing tools, they have a durability of 100. If we look at the pen in here, it has a durability of 3000, and it's fairly cheap to make too. So it's a great way to just sort of reduce your reliance on, say, Umbral Roses. Just saying. So here we have our big pool of stuffs, which you get from researching stuff with Thermometer, which you can also use the Goggles of Revealing. There's a few other ways you can get points, but those are the two primary ways you'll be looking at early on. And as you identify things, so if I take a look around with this, we can see I've gotten the chisel stuff has issues showing up, but grass, snowbrick, a whole bunch of the ME stuff, the unifier, tons of stuff has been registered. So I've already got a ton of points, and I've been using that to race through two different things, including, for example, this gold-banded Greatwood Wand, and of course the Goggles of Revealing and all sorts as well. So you get these primal elements. Now, if I hover over these, you'll see that a lot of them have those 2 or 3, maybe even, no, mostly 2, symbols beneath them. And those are the things that you combine to make them. So, for example, to make Humanus, we need to combine Bestia and Cognitio. So, Bestia, Cognitio, combine, we get a Humanus. Some of them don't have that. Those are the primal elements. So this one is air, this one is aqua, There's a few more running around, if I can find them. There's Ordo, and Perditio, and all sorts. There is quite a few different aspects, to say the least. Some of which I can see if I hold shift. So if we look at the goggles of reeling, it has an absolute heck ton of them. In fact, I believe it has 4 different primal aspects, as well as a bunch of different compound aspects, as they are called. And you use these to actually, like, work out how to resolve the piece of research that you're working on. So if you go into your Faumonomicon, which you can get fairly easily just by I believe it's transmuting a bookshelf as usual. Let's check out something. Now I've got a bunch of things already that I'll show you in a second, but you'll see if I look at these, it says you do not have the required aspects to purchase this. So which is said I don't have the items required. I can make those inside the research table. For example, there's a Golem, which is ice, that is combining Ordo and Aqua. And there's Instrumentum, which is another compound one. But if I had those, I could get this Icy Wand core. There's a few more around here, so for example, if I click to this one I cannot even understand it. So I'm missing some key research point in how to get that. Whereas with this, I can actually go and get it. In fact, I have all the qualifiers to get it, so I've unlocked a clue at some point for silver wand caps. Which I don't know if they're actually much of an upgrade from gold, but anyways. So I've got a few here. I have node modifier, which would let me steal a node and alter its properties. So for example, I could make it into a hungry node, or I could turn a hungry node good and pure and bright. I've got Thaumcraft cake, which I don't actually know about. The mercurial wand core, which I might be interested in. And node generation. I don't quite know if that's using a node to create power, or if it's actually creating nodes. I'm kind of curious. But it's not an easy thing to make, and the primal elements like air are really hard to come by, at least at my current stage in research. There's probably a way to generate them, I just don't know about it. But anyways, so we've got these key elements here, so that's Arbor, Metallum, Vitreous, and Venenum, I believe. And we need to bridge these gaps so that they all get connected into one contiguous shape. Doesn't have to be a line, doesn't have to be any specific array or order, they just have to be able to connect to each other through the lines. So for example, I can connect Metallum to Solemn and Ordo, I believe, Saxum and Ordo. Solemn doesn't exist anymore. So if we flip over to Metallum, we can see it's made of Saxum and Ordo. That's the general rules. These things that you put in here can only connect more or less to the things that it is made of, or the things that it goes on to make in the case of primal elements. And it's always one step. You can't jump steps a few bits, so I can't go from Ordo to Fabrico, for example. Fabrico you make from Instrumentum, and then Instrumentum you can make from Ordo, just to clarify that point. So, Metallum, Saxum, and Ordo, and I need to get it to, say, Vintium, or Vitreous. Vintium would of course be Ars Magica, which puts the R's in everything. So, Vitreous is made out of Saxum and Aqua, so we can make Saxum our joining element. So if I put that there, you can see there's a line now connecting the two. If I bring one over here as well, you can see it's doing the same thing. So now I need to find some way of bridging these two Saxums. Now the obvious way I could do that is with Terra, which is the only element that goes into Saxum. And I have a lot of it. So we'll put down some Terras, and a final Saxum in between. So now, the Vintium that we started out with and the Metallum is also joined up in a singular line here, so they can get from one to the other. And I need to repeat that kind of process with the Arbor and the Venenum, connecting them to any of these elements that are particularly useful. Now, it's not exactly easy to do if you're just looking through here. You can be following, like, for example, if I was going for Perditio, it's a primal element, so I can't see anything that it is made from. So I have to go then searching through all of these things to try and find things that it goes into to make. And if it's more than one step, then I have to keep going and looking. So it's not easy. So consequently, listed in the content, in like the description of this video, there is a link to an Imager post which shows you all the interactions between the different elements. It's not 100%. I believe it lists the combination for Golem to be as being a little bit different than what it is. So let me see if I can find it. That might be out of date. Okay, so there we go. Water, well, no, it's Tempestus I'm thinking of. So let me see, if I go to Tempesta, there we are. So that says Air and Golem. Tempesta is listed by this particular chart as Air and Aqua, so it's either got a few flaws or it's a bit outdated, but it's there for you if you perhaps want the assistance, which I could completely understand because this is not straightforward. Thaumcraft has never been straightforward, it never intends to be straightforward, it just is. It's mainly a research thing, but yeah. So let me see, Arbor, let's see if we can connect that to our Metallum. Arbor is made from Herba and Terra, but if my memory serves, it has a bit of trouble connecting to that, but we can probably connect that to our Metallum via the Saxum that's inherent in it, so we can just drag that up here and get a bit of Terra. And let's see, where do I have the Herba? These are all, I should mention, these are all alphabetically listed, although they're a little bit out of order at places. So let me see, we want Herba. Alright, the Infernus, Ignis. Yeah, there's a lot of new ones. Messis, Lucrum, Granum, Herba. There you are. Okay, so, line connecting that, and if I go to Terra, connecting, and then we can grab it, just a regular old Saxum. Whoop. Now, if you saw that one was Tempest, which is a hard one to come by, but it's a combat element, so you can make it. And you saw it was so grayed out, it wasn't coloured in, that's because there wasn't anything to its sides that it could connect to. And that's the easiest way to tell wherever something connects. So there we go, we've got Arbor, Metallum, and Vitreous all connected. Now we need Venenum. And this might be where it gets particularly tricky, because Venenum is made from Aqua, and Mortus, which is made from Victus, which is made from Terra. So it goes through a bunch of the different primal elements. We are probably best going through Aqua to Victus, or... no, that's probably the only one that we can probably maybe use reliably. Because actually we have a ton of Vitreous, we could maybe just use that. Okay, well, let's see. This is probably not going to be the most perfect way of resolving this, but we'll see. So, let me see, I have a ton of Vitreous, we shall use that as our bridging element. So, there we go, Aqua to Vitreous, and I can more or less keep doing that along here until we can use a Victus, which is not enjoying. Not all of these things go together. Exactly why that is, I'm not 100% certain. Oh wait, it's because that's Arbor. I'm an idiot, apparently. Okay, I need an Herba and a Terra. And now I can do the Saxum. And that should... oh, no, because that's Tempest again. Fortunately, all of my research investments are helping me out here. There we go, okay. We used a fair bit of our ink there, but because this pen has so much of it, we don't need to worry about it so much. So now we have unlocked the Mercurial Wand Core. And this brings me to the next step of exactly what this does. So this functions the same way it has done for a very long while, at least as far as I know, which is you solve the riddle, you get your piece, and you right-click it to consume it, research complete. There's a little highlight on the tab of where it goes, so we're into advanced thaumaturgy. So let me see, arcane crystals, mercurial crystal wand, almost all of this. So mercurial wand core, you discovered a way to infuse a never star liquid quicksilver, you can get it from smelting cinnabar ore, and the essence of multiple silverwood wand cores into a new core that can hold much larger amounts of this. And there's a little spiel from different people there, it's nice. And that's how we make it. So we need a nether cube, which is our texture pack's way of saying a nether star from a wither, quicksilver and silverwood rods, and a whole metric hecton of viz of specific types. And you can see it's an infusion, which means it requires, if I go to Artifice, I believe it is, yep, the infusion, it requires this mystical construct, which is a multi-block structure, which is where this gets into being a thing that really needs its own room. So it's not something I can maybe work out just yet, but I have the research to do it. Dave Farum has a big structure outside of his base for that specific purpose. I also have a deconstruction table, which breaks objects down into constituent viz, mainly their primals. Not all of their primals, but most of their primals. So let me see. If I feed it a bit of paper, it's breaking it down. And it didn't give me anything because it's kind of a piece of junk that way. But it's doing its best to examine it. And it's just sort of destroying the piece of paper until it can break down a primal stuff that we can actually see. It's a very, very imprecise little thing, but it's helpful to get every now and then a nice piece of useful research point or viz that you can use. And then there's the old arcane workbench, which has my really old, kind of really not a great wand in there that I'm just using for crafting at this point. I should be using this because that's got this has a 5% off bonus to it. But anyways, I digress. So, the next big change that we need to think about is the way that wands work now. Now, if you look to my top right, to my top left, when I'm holding this, you can see I've got this nice little overlay, which has all the different colors in it. Now, those are the colors of the primal elements, which you can extract from a number of sources, the chief among them being aura nodes, which are still around, but they're now actually, like, breakable. They're objects that you can actually, like, pickaxe apart. And Flux has changed a lot, so you're allowed to do that a bit more often. Now, depending on what you have in your one, so for example, we have 15 air, 25 terra, 15.1 ordo, and if I look over here, it's 50, 40.5, 39.46, and all sorts. You can do different effects if you happen to have the right one cap. Now here I'm holding down F to show my one focuses. So, 1 focus fire, Ignis, 0.1 per tick, 1 focus equal trade, auto and preditio, terra for excavation. We're just going to use fire because I don't want to be using the other two around here. So the way this works is you hold F and you hover your mouse over the thing that you want to use, and then you release F and it switches out the cap. So that is putting a wand of focus. And if I hop up to the surface, where I will hopefully be able to find like a cow or something, if we're particularly lucky. Let me see, where am I going to find a cow? Probably this way. Okay. Better yet, a pig. Okay. So, this is one of the more basic ones. Well, the one more basic one, foci. I do actually have another one called the Wand of Efreet, which also smelts things that it hits, so it burns a lot hotter, I guess. But the Wand of Focus of Fire, I'll just get that conflicting overlay out, just sets things alight. At a fairly good range, as you can see. So there goes Piggy, and we got some nice cooked pork out of that. Lovely. And, oh yeah, another benefit of switching over to the Yogg's Complete pack is we get the brand new hats pack, which you may remember from last season. There we go, clip-on halo. Kill mobs, get their hats, and yeah. So, yeah, there's a few changes, but by and large, the Yogg's Complete pack has been built from Chaosville, mixed with their MoonQuest pack, so we're more or less the same. Gascraft is still experiencing some errors, so we don't have our neurotoxin back just yet. But once I've gotten a few things sorted out, we might actually be seeing like some river fighting and stuff. And then hopefully we'll be able to finish up the curse. But yeah, so that is the one focus of fire. Let's switch it over to excavation. And let's just tear about this hill a bit more, shall we? So this one has a much shorter range, as you can see. But this lets us use our terra to create a bit of a mining catastrophe, more or less. You can put various enchantments and stuff onto your wands and stuff, but we haven't quite reached that point. And then we need to, I guess, discuss this focus pouch. This focus pouch, you can have all of your focuses in your inventory, or you can have them in this focus pouch, and either way, F picks them up. So if I open this, well, if I hold Shift and F, it will remove the cap from this. So there we go. Shifting will also show me the exact numbers of the aspects that are in my wand. You can see on the top left there. And if I open up this pouch, you can see I've got the Eagle Tray, the Excavation, and the Fire. I am working towards getting the one focus of warding. If you remember the warded blocks from the last season, warding lets you turn any block into a warded block. But anyways, I need to go and make a building, well, or at least a room now for the production of Thaumcraft things, notably the essences, and definitely the altar for infusing things. And I hope you've enjoyed this this quick introduction to our... No, come on. There. Yeah, thank you. It's a little buggy, just because I have, like... Yeah, I'm in English right now because I've had to switch mod packs entirely, so also why I'm missing all of my waypoints. But anyways, yeah, I got a scent boost on this because I would peeking and poking around Gator and Dave's place, and the ascent boost can screw me over quite a bit because it makes my jump a lot higher. But anyways, that is just a heads up on what's going on. I hope you've enjoyed this introduction piece to Thaumcraft 4.1 or Beta, Klingon, I don't know anymore. There's a lot of them. And hopefully, with the recent updates that we're getting, we'll maybe see the next update of Witchery, because as is the pattern with Witchery, we get the latest drop full of cool stuff, and even more cool stuff appears in the next drop. So the next drop of Witchery includes Witch Hunter gear, which specifically includes a crossbow. And I haven't had a ranged weapon for quite a while, and I'm really liking the look of that crossbow, so we might try and use that on the Wyver at some point. Kind of beats hand grenades, that's sure. But anyways, that has been it. I shall... let's see, let's go with Tiny Bird. Yo, there goes my hat. Okay, I have been the Twitter Bird, and I shall catch you all next time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and or favorite. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe to be notified of future updates. You can also check out the website where most other content is uploaded. That's all for now, catch you later.